Have you ever actually thought about how long you'd like to live if you actually had some kind of a choice in the matter and the quality of life that you'd like to have? Now, I have kind of jokingly in the past said 115. I'd like to make it to 115. Well, our next guests say that may be possible, but I may want to change a few of my bad habits in the meantime. So talking about staying young, 10 proven steps to ultimate health, Dr. Mark Anderson, Dr. Walter Gaman, and Judy Gaman, health and wellness expert. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
All right, so that's the title of the book, Stay Young, 10 Proven Steps to Ultimate Health. Is it possible, first off, you think, to extend our lives, live longer, live healthier, maybe even up to maybe 115 in my case, maybe?
Most likely, that's very achievable. So, I mean, we know that aging starts at the cellular level, and we talk about the DNA and it's in our cells, and what happens is the little pieces down at the bottom called the telomeres, every time a cell divides, they shorten, and as they get shorter and shorter, eventually they get to the point where the cell can't divide anymore.
Now, the cells in the body are dividing all the time,
All
right?
the time.
And that goes on until we die.
Right, and they tell you that the cells in our body have got about 120 years, and we kind of subtract off that by, bad eating habits and exposure to things, not exercising. So the goal is to try to minimize that. And two mainstays that we were talking about is diet and exercise, eating healthy. We know stress can shorten those telomeres, so emotional stress, physical stress. And then there's some products that are going to be available down the road that may help lengthen them and slow that aging process down.
But right now, exercise and eating healthy,
Right.
again, still two of the best things you can do to live longer. Not just healthier, but live longer.
Right.
Okay. Well,
And live productively longer.
yeah, and see, that's the thing. People want a quality of life if they're going to live longer. So let's talk to Dr. Gaman then about the next step in the process here.
Yeah, when the telomeres shorten, there's a lot of inflammation that occurs in the body. And we thought that it would be a good example of coronary artery disease. This is a cutaway of a coronary artery. When they get clogged, people have heart attacks.
Yeah, I've looked at that. I walked up and I said, now that can't be good.
So this is a normal artery. This one is starting to clog up from those California burritos everyone eats.
Wait a minute. You're using that confidential information against me now.
And then, most people think that the artery just eventually clogs up 100%. But in reality, what happens, these blockages, we call them plaques, become inflamed. And when they become inflamed, the plaques rupture, as shown in this model here. When they rupture, the body puts a blood clot on it, and then more blood clot, and suddenly, boom, you've had a heart attack.
So that's where the blood clots come from. You always hear about that, but I don't think I've never understood how they're formed.
Right. And, the problem is, say you have this amount of blockage and you see the doctor, you have a stress test, you'll pass it, no problem. But you still have a lot of disease. So when we do our executive physicals, we do the stress tests, but we also do a calcium score of the coronary arteries on a CAT scan machine to actually see how much calcium is in the arteries. And then we do blood tests to look at the inflammation that might cause these plaque ruptures. So by looking at the whole picture and being proactive, you can prevent this disaster of the plaque rupture. So a lot of deaths could be prevented if there was a complete, total look at the patient.
So again, it's not enough just to take that stress test. And I've heard people say that before. People that you look at them, they're not in great shape. And they say, oh, I just took a stress test, I passed with flying colors.
And a lot of those drop dead 6 months later.
And that's what happens, is the family's left saying, well, they just had a complete physical.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, let's talk to Judy here for just a second about how to really eat right and some of the superfoods that can maybe really get us on the right track here. I see some of my favorite things here, so this shouldn't be too tough.
A lot of people think if you're going to eat healthy, you have to eat things that you don't like. But that's not true. There are things that we can eat that actually will help with longevity and help us to look and feel younger. So, for example, eggs, they got a bad rap before because people thought they would, make their cholesterol levels go high. But research has shown that the vitamin D and the protein in eggs far outweighs the cholesterol issues. So be sure to eat your eggs.
As part of a balanced diet, sure.
As part of a balanced diet. Oats are great. Matter of fact, they have anti-inflammatory properties. And what we were discussing earlier is heart disease and aging comes from inflammation. So you want to be sure that you have your oats. Pistachios, raw nuts are great. Pistachios are even better. Keep a handful. Eat them every day.
Nobody can eat just a handful. That's
I
the problem
know.
with pistachios.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a new study came out that if you peel them, you eat less because it takes longer.
Takes time.
Takes
right.
time.
Takes work.
That's right. But they actually are very good for you. Greek yogurt. A lot of people say eat yogurt. You want to avoid yogurts with artificial sweeteners in them.
With the extra sugars added.
And
so
extra
forth,
sugars,
right.
that's right. But Greek yogurt's very good. It's high in protein, and it also has great calcium, and it has good fat, because we do need some fat.
I've got to wrap it up. What did we miss? Quickly?
Spinach and blueberries. Put them in your cart. Eat them often. They're
Blueberries,
fantastic.
I've heard them called a superfood. Would you go that far?
They are a superfood. One of the top. You should be eating them. Throw them in your cereal. Put them in your yogurt.
Dr. Anderson, Dr. Gaman, Judy Gaman, thank you so much. Now, we've got some copies of the book, sd6rewards.com. You can go there and maybe win a copy of the book, but otherwise, stay healthy, 10 proven steps to ultimate health. And I'd love to live to be 115, as long as I can still, walk around the block.
That's right.
That would be great. Thanks so much for coming in, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, now coming up, I got to talk about something in front of the doctors here that's maybe not quite as healthy.